to rule the hydrogen market, of course. But does it matter for that if we make our hydrogen onshore or offshore? Well, NLHydrogen thinks it does. Alice Krek, you're the director of NLHydrogen. You are the Association of the Hydrogen Industry in the Netherlands. The Netherlands wants to be big on the European hydrogen market. Of course.
Of course.
Of course. And you think we're really well positioned for that. Does it matter for that if we make our hydrogen onshore or offshore, or is it same?
Well, I think it does matter. We need all the elements in the value chain. For instance, the renewable hydrogen made from windmills, and also a backbone, and also the usage. But I think we can be different internationally on offshore hydrogen production. I think there we can really make a statement, and I think it will encourage our international competition position in the competition field. Yeah.
Okay, so you can really make us even more have a better competitive edge on this emerging European hydrogen market.
Yeah.
This afternoon, René Peters of TNO, he will explain to us that making your hydrogen offshore is economically viable much sooner than we think. From 100 kilometers of 2 gigawatts, it's already more efficient to make your hydrogen offshore than onshore. Will we have much more offshore hydrogen than we think right now?
Well, I think René is right, because you save costs on transport, but we can elaborate a little bit on that. And I think there will be a smaller amount produced offshore than onshore, and import, of course, we need that as well. But it will be, I think the amount, the share that it will take, we will see in the future, depending on a lot of uncertainties that we are facing right now.
You're going to interview Leonie Beekman, Senior Business Development Manager Netherlands of RWE Offshore, offshore wind. You make wind offshore. Are you also going to make hydrogen offshore?
Of course. We are a big player in offshore wind globally. And we look at offshore hydrogen as a new technology, enabling all that build-out of offshore wind globally. And we think it's a very interesting technology and want to play a role, definitely.
Alice, why did you want to bring Leonie to the stage today?
So,
why did you want to interview Leonie today?
Oh, because her company and her in person are really well setting a trend, or taking a leap forward in encouraging these techniques, and they are really, well, I think they have some interesting things to explain. But actually, we were going to do an experiment. We're going to interview each other.
Oh, wonderful.
So she may ask me some questions now and then.
That's wonderful. I would say, I'm going to run off stage. Take it away.
Okay. Well, Leonie, so glad that you're here. Well, first of all, maybe the initiative that your company has on hydrogen. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I think that is a good starting point for our discussion.
Definitely. We as RWE currently have a few initiatives on offshore hydrogen. For instance, we have the H2 op Zee project together with Neptune Energy here in the Netherlands. That's a 50-50 consortium-led project in which we have the ambition to demonstrate a large-scale offshore hydrogen installation here in the Netherlands. And in Germany, we're also having an active role in Aquaventus, which is an initiative which has a vision to build out the offshore hydrogen in Germany. We have the Aqua Sector project, so that's just a few examples of what we're doing. And we are definitely very interested in offshore hydrogen, and I believe it enables a large build-out of offshore wind that we want to have in the Netherlands, but also globally. And it's something we really have to invest in today to make that commercial scale possible in 2030 and beyond.
Maybe just to zoom out a little bit, I think this is, you have a few elements, or I think very important elements, but it is only a few, if you look at the larger scale of the whole value chain that we need to develop. So maybe for people who don't know, here our logo of NLHydrogen is coming in place. So maybe I can explain a little bit about the association, because you are one of the first members of this association. All companies that think that hydrogen will take a big leap into the future, and that it is very important for for our economy, but also to reach these sustainability goals, of course. So we have users, we have the companies that produce, also electricity companies, infra providers, and they're all doing a lot of projects. If you look at the whole system, I think, well, you are on one part of the value chain, but also import is important, and also the usage of hydrogen. There is also some uncertainties at the moment because the price is high, but still you are going on with your project. So how does this, the elections that were recently in the Netherlands, do they affect your project? What are discussions that are coming up now in your company? And does it also affect the project that you are taking part of?
I think we are dealing with a lot of insecurities, as you also mentioned in the beginning in your introduction. I think we need more certainty to be able to invest, and we have to invest today to take those steps to demonstrate towards large-scale offshore hydrogen. We need onshore testing, we need offshore testing, and so on. So we have to deal with these uncertainties now. We have to make clear what is it that we need in order to invest. And that is a clear roadmap of which offshore sites will become available for hybrid or offshore hydrogen production. It's a clear build-out of infrastructure, and I can name a few more, but I guess indeed we need those clarities now to invest today. But we believe in the long run it has a role to play in order to enable the large build-out of offshore wind. It has a system function to absorb all that offshore wind energy, especially in the Netherlands, to alleviate the grid. Beautiful picture. So we definitely believe in this technology, and we believe it can also enable a sustainable, independent energy system in the Netherlands that I think also all these voters want. We want to be independent of import, we want to be sustainable, we want to have an affordable energy bill. So I guess this technology fits within what the voters want, and I think that's what we have to keep on promoting over here.
Of course. But I think you were working in an international context. Company is operating, well, at least the whole of Europe. You have a large stake. Do you sense a difference between Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands? Because at least that is what I hear from our members, that in Germany sometimes they say, okay, it is cheaper to produce hydrogen, for instance, or to invest in that. Do you sense a difference between that?
Definitely. I think we're looking at this technology globally, and we really embrace the vision of the Dutch government to have these demonstrators, 1 and 2, in order to get to that large scale. So we really embrace that. We're really happy with that. And I think also Germany has set this ambition to be there long-term in offshore hydrogen. Also a lot of unclarities happening now in Germany, which I hope will be addressed in the coming months. And I guess Netherlands and Germany are front runners here, and I believe that is because the ambitions of the large build-up of offshore wind, and also because we are here with this big offshore energy sector that we can enable to build out this and to have strategic advantage as the Netherlands, a new economy, so to say.
There's certainly a unique selling point there. But I think also we should not underestimate the Spanish, because they have a big solar team ready to produce hydrogen as well. The Italians are coming up. I think all over Europe. Last week there was the European Hydrogen Week. We saw so much inspiration and so much companies that were taking so many initiatives. I think there will be, but the difference for the Netherlands is that we have this beautiful coastline, that we have the North Sea. I think offshore hydrogen production and offshore wind is really something that we need to cherish.
Yes, Alice, can you tell us something more on NLHydrogen? What members are there? Are you working across the whole value chain?
Yes, of course. Well, it's actually the whole value chain. I have a picture of that. Maybe it can be here because it's quite complicated for all those companies that you already touched upon it a little bit, but the companies, there are now new companies coming up that are producing hydrogen onshore, but also offshore in windmills. Even, and also on platforms, but also onshore. And they, of course, need clients. So here you see the whole value chain actually standing. And you see it's a new value chain as looking at green hydrogen and looking at the uses of green hydrogen, which is standing on the right side for the audience. With the power, the mobility, the built environment, the industry. It is still at the early stage of development. But it's growing, and it needs to be grown internationally. All the countries in Europe need to grow it at the same time, at least for mobility, for the level playing field, for the industry, but also through the value chain. And you see at these linking points of the value chains, that is where the uncertainties need to be, well, be changed or be diminished, so to say. But it is not always possible, so companies take a risk, they need to take a risk, but you want to take the risk as low as possible, of course. And there, I think all to the value chains, it is very encouraging for me also after the elections in the Netherlands that companies keep going on, that they keep developing their initiatives. But the discussions are strong. And you see on the low side of this scheme, here you see that the regulatory framework is also being under development. We are working on that together with the government, having big discussions. We need people, human capital, of course. We need knowledge. There's a lot of innovation needs to be done. I think it is an old technique to produce hydrogen, green hydrogen or blue hydrogen, and uses of hydrogen also. It is possible, but I think we need more efficiency and lowering the costs. And here is the big one, the elephant in the room, the financing. I think it's now a bit expensive still to use hydrogen. At this new the green hydrogen, so to say. So that is something that we need to work on. And that's all the things that we work upon. Sorry, big, long answer to a short question, but that is something that we work upon.
Yeah, I think it's great that you stood up and be like one voice from the sector on. And I guess we do need that thinking across the whole value chain. We need incentives at generation, which is then my scope, but of course we need it in the supply chain. We need those carrots and sticks in offtake. We need it in transport. The TSOs need to be incentivized and mandates, and I guess that's how we can make it work. We need to see it as a whole value chain that we have to enable. So I think it's great that you're working on this.
Thank you, and good if you work with us. And I got a small sign of our chair, and we have time for one more question, so to say, because are there any new projects coming up, and what challenges? Now let me ask this question. I can take one question more. So which challenges do you think is the most problematic that you want to bring me home to my afternoon and working on? What could help you really much?
I guess it's a clear outlook of, talking about the Netherlands, it's a clear outlook of which sites will become available to us to tender upon. So not just us, but the whole market, obviously. So we can do that in competition. What can we tender on, when, and how? And I guess that will justify investments that we would have to make today. And if we don't know if there's a clear outlook, no one will start investing today. So I would say a clear outlook of what is to come for us to build out and when.
Okay, I will work on that. I will try, because we are going to, of course, well, there are a lot of a whole new member of parliament, and we are going to meet them and explain them about hydrogen. Some even don't know what hydrogen is, how you can use it, the beautiful molecule, and then the offshore production of hydrogen will be high on the agenda, of course. So
great.
I will take care of that. Thank you. So we have one question for the audience as well. That's what we thought, and I think see some people that I think are capable of. At least it is a question for them, and you can answer yes or no. So what is your feeling? Companies, now with all these uncertainties that we talked about, companies should take more risk and take the lead now just to lead the government more and not wait? Or do you think, okay, it is better to wait a little bit because, okay, the business case is important and I understand all these uncertainties that the two women on stage talked about. So who thinks that companies should take more risk? Because they make the future.
So don't wait for the government, take more risk. Yeah.
Go for it.
And now the other way, no, wait for the government has to act first and then the company should follow. It's a 50-50, just pick some people. Yeah, just. Can we have the hand mic? Yeah.
Does it work?
Doesn't work? Yeah, try again.
No?
No,
No, still not.
A new microphone is being brought to you. Yeah?
I'm so curious about...
Yeah, how it works. No, just look at what's happening. There are still a lot of projects, but FIDs are not taken. I think that's a clear signal that from the government there should be a bit more clarity and visibility. I mean, we are taking risks as a company, but a bit more from the government would be welcome.
I think that man is really eager.
Yeah, I was hoping you were adding a third option to the answer. The government should take a bit more risk here.
Okay, and who
initiating these kind of projects?
More risk from the government. Who raised his hands first? Companies should take a little bit more risk. Oh, now the microphone is coming. I think the two gentlemen in the middle, they were definitely raising their hands.
There are no wrong answers here.
No, you weren't. So then I can say for companies, yes. For traditional oil and gas companies are still paying billions in dividends to their shareholders, and for the past 50 years they have made private profits while putting all their externalities on the taxpayers. It's time to reverse the roles. Now you take the risk and the taxpayers take the profit.
I think we are willing to take that risk, but we need a clear regulatory framework to do that. We need certainty, we need infrastructure. That's obviously a public owned space here, at least in the Netherlands. So if we will have all that, we will take that risk. So I would say it's a little bit of both. We take that risk and the government brings the clarity we need.
You could also say, if you produce a lot of eggs, chickens will emerge. So if you make the supply ready, there will be demand and then infrastructure will follow.
Now that's not exactly correct, because they are facing the competition with the commodity market. So the gas market, it is cheaper. Hydrogen is expensive. So you can say, okay, I make a golden egg here, but if nobody's going to buy it because the alternative is much cheaper and quicker and easier to get, then you just have a loss, and then you have angry shareholders, and you have no customers, and I think you can try to find a new employment somewhere or something. So it's maybe just to make it very simple. Now,
if you could choose what the government should do, only regulation, no money, or only money and no regulatory framework, what would you choose?
Well, if it was that hard, then I would say the regulatory framework is the most important, because the government needs to organize things, so that the companies know, okay, these are the rules, here we can act upon.
Negotiations about the new government started yesterday, so we're going to take care of this. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Alice and Leonie.